Hey guys, how's it going? Cry here, and welcome to my Game Week 9 Premier League predictions. Now, it's been a while since the last one of these. Obviously, there's been the international break. Next week, there might not be one because I'm on holiday in France, so if I can find the time to make one, then I will, but it might not happen. I will write down my predictions on a piece of paper anyway, and then on the Game Week 11 predictions, I will go through those with you then and just see whether I got them right or not. So, if I scoot over here. First up this week is Chelsea versus Manchester United, and I am going to go for a 2-0 Chelsea win. Manchester United did steady the ship slightly in the last game, but they're still not looking particularly great. But yeah, I think Chelsea will get the job done. Next up is Bournemouth versus Southampton, and Bournemouth have continued their impressive start to the season. The Southampton have continued their relatively mediocre start to the season, so for that I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Bournemouth. Although Southampton, if they go ahead first, I can see them maybe snatching a draw, but I do think that Bournemouth will win it 2-1. Next up is Cardiff City versus Fulham, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Cardiff, they've not had great results at all, but they've come pretty close on some occasions. Obviously, that 3-2 against Arsenal being the main one that comes to mind. But Fulham and Cardiff both, not having brilliant starts. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Next up is Manchester City versus Burnley, and Burnley really haven't started the season well. They got booted out of the Europa League fairly early on. Man City have started the season pretty well. They're top of the league on goal difference, and I think they'll get the job done here, winning 3-0. Next up is Wolves versus Watford, and I am going to go for a 2-1 Wolves win. I think they'll have enough in the tank to beat Watford, who have really been on quite a downward spiral recently, definitely so. They've not played very well, Watford. They started the season very, very well, very, very strong, but since then they've properly fallen away. So I'm going to go for a Wolves 2-1 win because they've started the season very well indeed. Next up is Newcastle versus Brighton, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Newcastle came incredibly close to beating Manchester United before that sensational second half comeback from Manchester United, but I just think that both teams might not play their most attacking game here. I know Newcastle definitely won't, Brighton probably won't, and that's why I'm going to go for that 1-1 draw. Next up is West Ham versus Spurs, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 Spurs win. I don't think it will be very easy for Spurs. I think West Ham will make it difficult, and Spurs might have to come from behind to win, but I think that the quality that they've got, they should be able to, although Harry Kane has just come off international duty, so maybe slightly tired again. We don't really know, as is Kieran Trippier, who didn't really play against Spain, but definitely that Spain game must have taken a lot out of Harry Kane because the England performance there was extraordinary in that second half to defend the way they did, and their attacking performance in the first half was pretty good. But I think no matter whether Harry Kane is himself or not, I think that Spurs will get the job done 2-1. Next up is Huddersfield Town versus Liverpool. Liverpool have had a very good start to the season, but they haven't really had a good start to the season. I know that seems weird, but they've been getting good results, and they're joint top, but that's sort of what they wanted. But on the other hand, they've not played very well, and they've not quite got that team chemistry there yet. They're not quite linking up in the way they should be. Mohamed Salah scored directly from a corner on international duty, then got injured, so that's great for Liverpool fans. Sadio Mane is also injured, I think, as is Naby Keita, so they're missing quite a lot of key names, but I do think they'll get the job done, and I think they'll win 3-1 over a struggling Huddersfield team. So the penultimate game of this game week is Everton versus Crystal Palace, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 Everton win. Crystal Palace haven't had the best start to the season, really. They've been alright. They've sort of been lower mid-table sort of form so far this season. Everton, they've had a bit of a bad patch earlier on, but they've come out of that now. Gylfi Sigurdsson seems to have found a little vein of form playing centrally now. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Everton win. And the final game of this episode and this game week is Arsenal versus Leicester City, and I am going to go for a 3-1 Arsenal win. They have definitely slipped under the radar slightly under Unai Emery. They've got 7 or 8 wins in a row now in all competitions, which is really impressive actually for a new manager to come in and do that, especially with the team that he inherited and the defensive capabilities that it had. Bernd Leno will probably start ahead of Petr Cech because of his injury. I assume that's a relatively long-term injury, so a chance for him to prove himself. I think Arsenal get the job done 3-1. So there you have it, guys. Those were my predictions for game week 9 of the Premier League. Like I say, probably won't be a video next week on the Premier League predictions, but do keep your eyes peeled for that Tuesday or Wednesday, not next week, the week after half-term finishes, because there will be a France vlog coming out featuring a special visit to the jewel in the F1 calendar. So, if you did enjoy, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that little bell notification as well so you don't miss it when I upload, Sean, and I shall see you guys in the next episode.